This week at NASA.
Juno is on schedule and on budget.
NASA's upcoming Juno mission to Jupiter was previewed by scientists and engineers at a Kennedy Space Center news briefing.
The size of Juno is about 11.5 feet tall, about 11.5 feet wide. The diameter of the circle is about 80 feet in diameter.
We're the first ones to go out that far to Jupiter's distance, solar powered.
Juno's goal is to improve our understanding of our solar system's beginnings by revealing data about the gas giant's evolution. Juno will get closer to Jupiter than any other spacecraft to provide detailed images and the first glimpse of its poles.
What we're really after is discovering the recipe for making planets, and we're back at the first step of making sure we have all the ingredients in that recipe.
Juno is scheduled to launch August 5th from the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida.
Juno is really the first in a whole series of planetary science missions that are beginning. Juno will launch in early August. We'll have Grail going to the moon in September, and then we'll launch the Mars Science Laboratory to Mars in November.
With the recent selection of the Gale crater as its landing site on the Red Planet, the Mars Science Laboratory mission is now one step closer to its scheduled launch this November. NASA's next Mars rover, car-sized Curiosity, would land in August of next year at the foot of a giant layered mountain inside Gale.
There is this enormous stack, 5 kilometers thick, of layered material, which represents the opportunity to literally read chapters in a book of the history of past deposition on Mars.
During a prime mission lasting 1 Martian year, nearly 2 Earth years, researchers will use the rover's tools to study whether the landing region had favorable environmental conditions for supporting microbial life and for preserving clues about whether life ever existed. With this plaque-hanging ceremony at Mission Control in Houston, the STS-135 crew that completed the final space shuttle mission aboard Atlantis paid tribute to flight controllers at the Johnson Space Center who supervised its 13-day mission.
Had a chance to allow everyone to take it all in.
Commander Chris Ferguson, pilot Doug Hurley, and mission specialists Sandy Magnus and Rex Walheim took part in the traditional ceremony that spanned both the International Space Station and Space Shuttle flight control rooms.
You know, every time we go flying, we take a little piece of you with us, and we hopefully maybe just brought you along a little bit more on this flight.
If you think about a year ago, this flight didn't even exist. It was the STS-335 rescue mission, and really it was just a gleam in Mike Suffredini's eyes back then. And then here we are, fast forward through 12 incredibly busy months of preparation, and look at what we accomplished.
We never lost focus. You never lost heart. You never lost your morale. You never lost the discipline with which we have been taught to come into this room and all of the surrounding rooms to do what we do. And for that, I think you all deserve to be commended. So let's give yourselves a round of applause.
What we are trying to do in this administration is return NASA to that more classical role of our 1958 Space Act of investing in technologies.
Deputy Administrator Lori Garver was keynote speaker at the Space Frontier Foundation's annual New Space Conference held at the Ames Research Center. New Space allows entrepreneurs, investors, scientists, engineers, regulators, and space policy leaders to discuss the opening of space to human settlement. The theme of this year's 3-day forum, The Next Big Thing, focused on the emerging commercial space industry.
These are people who believe in what we do.